If you need a place to enjoy the best years of your life after 60, help at home, or rehab after surgery, Carriage is here for you. Carriage is a family-owned healthcare and senior living company that puts people first. Enjoy a vibrant retirement in an elegant, amenity-rich community in Washington or California. Rehab after surgery in Bellevue or Renton, or care at home. Throughout King, Pierce, and Thurston counties, we're here for you. Learn more at carriage.com.
Pipes, camera, action. When Jones Plumbing started to back up, she knew she had a big problem. That's when she called Spartan Plumbing. They arrived on time and showed her a dirty movie of her sewer. Spartan Plumbing knew what had to be done, explained everything, and worked tirelessly to clear the clog. For all your plumbing needs, call Spartan Plumbing, 253-306-0309 or SpartanPlumbingInc.com. Free dirty movies with sewer inspection.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Coming up, we'll drink and toast on the weekend with a shot of the day. Then it's Bad Choice Friday time.
You know it's Bad Choice Friday.
It's Bad Choice Friday.
You know it's Bad Choice Friday.
Hey, man, this is your fault. Now we celebrate a couple of birthdays on a Bad Choice Friday. Paula Abdul is 60.
Straight up now, tell me, do you really want to love me forever? Oh, oh, oh. Or am I caught in a hit and run? Straight up now, tell me.
You know, she reminds me of Paula Abdul.
Who's that?
You're one of the few people, one of our co-workers, who we refer to as Bag of Salad.
Yeah.
Right? Same general, just, it's kind of the weird demeanor, not entirely tethered to reality. You know what I'm saying?
Paula Abdul has a song also called Dance Like There's No Tomorrow.
Doesn't everybody say dance like there's no tomorrow? Or dance tonight because tomorrow we won't dance?
That's one thing that I figured out about dance music. Steve Wright and I were having a conversation in the office. There's somebody out there who not only is going to make sure that tomorrow doesn't exist so you can't dance, but someone is there to stop the music. Yeah. There is a person somewhere that is continually stopping the dance music. That is the arch enemy of all dance music.
Don't let the music stop. And you got to dance tonight.
Forever. You can't stop the music. Don't stop the music. Who is this person that continually stops the music?
I think it's a whole agency.
Paula Abdul taking on Barry Manilow, who's 79. No one's stopping Barry. You can't stop him. He's 79 years old.
Hottest spot.
Again, his face, 55. Have you seen him?
Oh, my God, yeah.
Oh, my God. He would scare young children.
Yes, he would.
Like that was like their grandfather, and you brought in a great-grandkid or whatever. You're like, oh, what is that? He's the guy at the grocery store who your kid says something, right? Who's just being honest, but he's 4. And he's got to learn to keep his mouth shut about other people. Like points and goes, oh, Mom, what is that?
What's wrong with his face?
Nothing, honey. It's just Barry Manilow.
Just botulism.
Here's how you vote on Bad Choice Friday. Just follow us on Twitter at Men's Room Live. We'll get the poll up there. One of those 2 tunes coming up as we celebrate birthdays today. All right, our question. Because of my body, I couldn't or can't do blank. 206-421-ROCK.
This is an interesting one. It says, my husband had leukemia 12 years ago, and he was pumped full of all the drugs. His testicles set off the alarms in the air detector at the airport every time, and he would have to get felt up by a dude with gloves on every damn time. So whatever the drugs were, right? So you have these things where they're sniffing for chemicals, bomb-making stuff or drugs, right?
All right.
But I guess his testicles is where most of the drugs collected or whatever, but essentially they would set off all the drug detection stuff. So now you have to convince them, I don't have drugs on me, I have drugs in me. And even then, I have so many drugs in me that I set off your detector, and you explain where they are, and some dude has to reach under
I've had somebody grab me down there in the TSA thing.
Your testicles?
Well, basically just go in for the full grab because that's where they were wanting me.
Was something going off in the wand?
Yeah, they wanted me. And
why did the wand go off?
I don't know. I really do not know. I have no idea. But they definitely they got in there. And it's kind of like that video where the cop reaches in and is like, "What's that?" He's like, "My penis."
He's like, "Oh, yep, you're right."
It's kind of like that. I was like, "All right." Because of my body, I couldn't or can't do blank. 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Sal. Welcome to the men's room.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Hola.
So nothing too interesting about my body, but when I was a little bit younger, I go 6'5", about 300 pounds. And so there were several instances of things like this happening. But on my honeymoon in Greece, my wife and I had taken a cruise, and we were all going to ride these donkeys back up the mountain to our hotel. So she gets on the first donkey that was there, and she starts to go. I go to get on the next donkey in line, and some little guy, no. So I'm waiting. I go to get on the next one. No. This happened a few times until they had a guy that spoke English come on over, and he says, "No, sir, you need bigger donkey." So
Well,
they weren't going
yeah.
to let me on the little guys.
Well, did they have a bigger donkey for you to ride?
They did. After a couple, there was like one or two in the entire lineup.
All right. Like if you got a budget at Avis, they've got you can rent a Chevy Suburban that sits 8. So I'm sure they got all that stuff for you.
So they actually had a big enough donkey to carry you.
There were about 2 only in a line of like 50 or 60 of them.
All right, well, let me ask you this. So you went to Greece, and you said you're, 6'3", 300 pounds?
Yeah, 6'5", 300.
6'5", 300 pounds. So I would think all of your trip, with the exception of physically being in Greece, sucked. The airplane ride, I'm 6'4", but only weigh like 185, right? But you already don't have enough leg room. So I got to think that sucks. I have to think the cruise ship, having been on a cruise, those rooms are so tiny, the beds aren't that big. Like, were you ever comfortable?
I'm never comfortable in an airplane. I saved up a lot so I can fly, first class when I go places. But you're not comfortable in any mode of transportation.
All right. Well, I bet you'll be okay on a train. Believe it or not.
Yeah, you can get up and move.
Trains are.
Never been on a train.
They're actually.
Oh, dude, that's the way to go.
I was in Jamaica, and I wanted to go parasailing. And I went and paid my money, but the boat that takes the tandem people out had already left. And the guy's like, "No, man, you need the bigger boat." So I couldn't go while I was there.
Damn. How many other things have you missed out on just based on that?
Cars. There was a car that came out years ago. It was, an SUV, a Lexus SUV I was going to buy, and I was all set to go buy it. They're like, "Let's test drive it," and I'm thinking to myself, "Sure, I don't care, whatever. I'm still going to buy it." Couldn't fit in it.
Damn.
What was it, like a 350? You couldn't get in that?
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
There's one bigger.
Yeah, but you got to pay more.
Oh, God.
I was thinking, economically.
that was the grocery getter.
Right. I was going to say, you can find anything. You just have to pay all that extra money.
What about the military? You can't be on a submarine. You can't be in an aircraft carrier, right? You're too big for, I would assume, being in the Navy or something.
Well, I joined the Army, so I was okay. In the Air Force, there are certain planes you can and cannot fly, and there are certain vehicles I could not drive in the Army, but that wasn't my job anyhow.
Okay. What about
the Army was okay.
What about just like sleeping in a bed in a hotel?
You get kind of used to your feet sticking off your head a little bit. I'm not exceptionally tall. I was 6'5". I'm probably like 6'4" now.
All right, again, I'm 6'4",
that's still tall.
But you got 115 pounds on you. So once you had all the extra weight based on the height of your frame, like things change. Like you and I have very different experiences in life, regardless of our height.
When you were growing up, did the football coach beg you to play?
I was actually kind of skinny and scrawny until I graduated. I was a little bit younger, graduating high school, so I was kind of scrawny until I got to college.
But it wasn't like the basketball coach who was a teacher was constantly saying, "Hey, man, come on out.
Right.
Let's see what we can do."
Yeah.
Oh God, that was
But
enough.
again, I topped out at 6'5", so that
Right. Okay.
Again, it's not exceptionally tall.
Right.
That was a weird thing, man. There was always a basketball teacher, but it was always a teacher at your school,
Right.
And I mean, they recruited actively.
Yeah, if you were tall,
You were in the cafeteria, whatever it was. We'll
Hey, man,
work with
play
you.
basketball? Play basketball? Play football? Hey, man, you play this? Right. It didn't matter the coach that come up. And if you were like that dense, thick kid, hey, man, you wrestle? Whatever your body type, they were going to approach
They were
you.
after you, and they were
Instantly.
actively recruiting you as you were in school. It's the damnedest thing ever. Because of my body, I couldn't or can't do blank. 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Kyle. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, gentlemen.
Hola.
All right, well, I had 2 herniated discs in my neck, got fused together, so I lost like 60% or 50% range of motion. So I can't tilt my head left, right, forward, backward, really for nothing.
So you can't.
Yeah.
You can't. So if I were to ask you a question and the answer is no, you're not going to shake your head no. You're just going to tell me no.
I can shake it. I can look left and right. I just can't tilt. The tilt.
Okay. Can't tilt it. I got you.
All right, so if there's like a plane or something, you can't see it really.
Yeah.
So do you have like real stiff shoulders? I'm guessing like if somebody calls your name, I'm guessing like the whole body spins around kind of thing.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, you always feel the tension all the way up from your shoulders, all the way up to my head.
Is it something that people notice in the course of a conversation with? Because it's just subtle physical cues, or does no one really? Is it like someone who doesn't have an eyebrow? It takes a long time to figure out why they look different.
No, I think the only people that notice are the people that I know. Like,
okay.
If somebody didn't know me, they wouldn't really be able to tell.
How about tripping? Just based on the fact that you can't really look down to see sometimes.
I trip all the time anyway, so.
All right, okay. I was just thinking if you couldn't look down, that would be the more dangerous thing.
Yeah.
As far as missing a step
Jesus.
or whatever. Because of my body, I couldn't or can't do blank. 206-421-ROCK.
Somebody here says I'm 6'7" and fit comfortably in a PT Cruiser. Those seats go way back, and I got the sunroof space for more headroom.
Right.
Unfortunately, you have to be in a PT Cruiser.
Well, there are cars where you can see in and say, all right, that looks like that has a lot more room to it.
Yeah, but like that's the only cars you can look at. That's what would suck if you're that tall.
Yeah.
Period. You go like, yeah, I can fit in that car. It's just not necessarily the car that I want, but it's the car that I have to buy because I can't fit into the car I want.
Isn't there one more big size, like for, like California King for the bed?
Yes.
Yeah.
And is that longer as far as your feet go?
I think it's wider.
Sure. It's definitely wider, but I don't know if it's longer.
Yeah.
Because you got to think, man, all these guys who, when the NBA was in Seattle, whatever team was coming into town, and I know that's been a while, but you would have to think, much like the private charter plane that they flew in on,
right,
that gives them leg space and everything else, that you go and you have a deal with a hotel. Look, maybe it's only 20 rooms or whatever is required from the organization when they come in, but that you have beds that are big enough for these guys. Like you have just...
Who did we talked to a guy, I want to say we were still in Baltimore. I believe he was an NBA player, but he was talking about... Anytime he booked a hotel, he had to tell them push two beds together. And he said the mistake they would make, they'd push them together side by side.
Right.
And he's like, no, man, I need you to push two beds together like head to foot. Because he was that long.
Right. So if I have a hotel and I've got 10 floors, or I'm sorry, I got 10, 15 rooms that are specifically for larger guys, or whatever the number is. So if the Vikings are playing the Seahawks, it's bigger dudes.
Right.
I've kind of accommodated them, so maybe I'll get the bid on them staying when they come into town.
Well, you got to remember, all these NFL teams, and I think the NFL itself, has a contract, I believe, with Marriott. I know the officials stay at Marriott's. So in that case, I can get, if it is Marriott or Hyatt or whoever it is, guaranteed, like, they have those beds set aside because that contract's there.
I'm going to try that just to see, like, do you guys have rooms for bigger people? And they would say, like, what do you mean? Like, I'm talking.
I'm bringing my fat cousin.
My girlfriend's coming.
Oh, damn.
I remember Shaq did a commercial for Lincoln like a decade ago.
Right.
And in the commercial, they stuck his ass into one of their sedans, which I like Lincoln. They're a very comfortable car, but I couldn't help but notice that when they had the side shot of Shaq in that Lincoln sedan, he could look out the back window because they had to shove that seat so far backward.
Well, they have I get this one email blast. It's some of the more the pricier real estate from famous people in the United States of America. So if somebody's selling their home in California, they're flipping homes, whoever it is, they'll give you a tour of the inside of it. Typically, those homes are $7 million to $30 million to whatever the deal is. And every time that they have a basketball NBA player who's moved, traded, or whatever, when you take a tour of their home, you've never seen a bigger bed.
Yeah, of course.
It's like this specialty bed. Like, I don't know where you get the sheets for it. I don't know how the sheets stay on. It's a different lifestyle as far as how you need to accommodate. Most of the hallways going through places, as far as the doors go, so the doors are bigger. All these
they have to be. Think of what your average door.
If you're 6'8", you don't want to live in a place where you're constantly ducking every time you come in, just out of convenience. Like, at least in your own home, you could be comfortable.
Right. Somebody here says the California King, it's longer but narrower. And then a couple of people saying, I believe there's a thing called an Alaska King.
An Alaska King.
Which I need to Google. I got to see how big that is. Alaska King.
It's probably the guy on the airplane.
Yeah. Alaska
King bed.
There we go. Alaska King mattress. What do we got here? Well, God damn, that's expensive.
How much is it?
The
Because
one
betting is already cheap.
Right. Well, I want the dimensions on this. I'm trying to find the dimensions. Have you heard of the Alaska King, Mike?
Oh, my.
I think I might have, but I might be mistaking it for like.
What
the
is
Alaska king
this?
crab.
Look at this. Look at this.
Jesus.
It's like a family of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, granted, 5 of them are children and a dog, but they're all on that.
Okay, just so you know, there's the Alaska King bed. The dimensions 108 inches by 108 inches. If you don't need anything that big, then go for the Alberta King, which is 96 inches by 96 inches. Finally, the Wyoming King, which is
I'm looking at
84
that
by
too.
84.
How do they choose these different? You know,
I don't know.
California, I can kind of understand because it's one of the bigger states. Alaska, I can understand is one of the bigger
Sure.
states. What's with Alberta? What's with Wyoming?
And then the Texas King
know.
comes in at 80 by 98.
The Texas King.
You'd think that the Texas King would be the biggest
Would be
one.
big.
It's known for being the big one.
But it
Right.
shouldn't be the Rhode Island King because it's such a small.
That's right.
We call that a single.
That should be for
That's a twin bed.
That's a smaller than a twin, just in case. Basically it's a crib.
By the way, you're being corrected, Mike. It was a Buick with Shaq, not Lincoln.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
Because of my body, I couldn't or can't do blank. 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Dan. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
I was an active athlete years ago, and I had first double hip surgery in 14 years at Overlake Hospital in Bellevue, and I had my hips done at the same time.
Why did you have double hip? Why did you need
I
double
had
hip
double-
surgery?
I mean, when did I have it?
When and why?
I had it because all the bones were crushed in both hips,
Jesus.
and I'd lost my ability to walk. So I was going around in a walker, and then I ended up in one of those carts. And I'll tell you a funny story, is I was in a Safeway store, and it's funny how people treat you when you're in a walker. I had more people try to buy me groceries because they thought I was homeless, and I kept trying to convince them that I wasn't. But it's interesting how people look at you when you're on a walker or you're on a cane. They either stare at you, avoid you, or they can't do enough for you. But I had double hip surgery in 2017.
How much physical therapy before you, or like typically with a hip surgery, I know it's just one side or the other, but people walk right away when they walk leaving the hospital.
Right.
And sometimes
Right.
sometimes that surgery can be day of.
Yeah.
It's even.
No, they don't. What they forget to tell you is how painful it is. It is the pain is excruciating. They tell you what it's like. They tell you it's not going to hurt. But I've never experienced pain like that. It's pain that you can't put words to.
How long did the pain last? How long did it last?
The pain lasts about 2-3 months, and then it
Jesus.
takes about.
Okay. My question is why is it just the hip that's degenerative and not the bones leading up into it, like the femur or whatever? You know, like why is it just that one area that, for whatever reason, is crumbling on you?
I don't know, but they say that if you start to feel hip pain, there is no cure. The only cure to hip pain is surgery. In other words, if you start getting pinches in that area, and sometimes it can feel like a groin pull, that the only way to cure that kind of pain is to get surgery. I didn't believe it, and then I scheduled emergency surgery because my hip kept falling out of its socket.
God, that's a
And
painful
let me
one.
tell you, that hurts. Yeah, that hurts. That hurts.
Did you ever get a clicking in it before that? Like you could hear like
I
a
never
click?
got it. Yeah, that was only later, so just before surgery.
Sometimes every once in a while I'll get a click, and I'm thinking to myself, this is not going to be good down the road.
Surgery. You heard the man.
Good times. Because of my body, I couldn't or can't do blank. 206-421-ROCK.
Winter is rapidly approaching, so prepare now. Your outdoor and crawl space pipes are susceptible to freezing temperatures, cracks, and bursts. That could leave you with thousands in repairs or irreparable damage. At Spartan Plumbing, our experts ask the right questions, giving honest and knowledgeable answers, and making sure we're recommending the right solution for your unique system before disaster strikes. Call Spartan for your consultation today, 253-306-0309, or visit SpartanPlumbingInc.com. Spartan Plumbing, repaired right the first time.
At Seattle Credit Union, we believe in our communities and the people we serve. The path to U.S. citizenship can be expensive, which is why we offer citizenship loans to cover the costs associated with this process. We also offer a fee-based alternative for each citizen loan type for people who would prefer not to pay any interest. Visit seattlecu.com to learn more, or give us a call at 855-575-9352 to speak with a friendly loan expert to get started today. Seattle Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
If you need a place to enjoy the best years of your life after 60, help at home, or rehab after surgery, Carriage is here for you. Carriage is a family-owned healthcare and senior living company that puts people first. Enjoy a vibrant retirement in an elegant, amenity-rich community in Washington or California. Rehab after surgery in Bellevue or Renton, or care at home throughout King, Pierce, and Thurston counties. We're here for you. Learn more at carriage.com.
Planning a wedding can be intimidating, but finding the perfect suit shouldn't be. Indochino makes it easy to get a custom suit right from home. Fine-tune every detail and design a suit tailored perfectly to your body and your personality, starting at just $4.99. Get a wedding suit as unique as you with Indochino. Go to Indochino.com and use code PODCAST to get 10% off any purchase of $3.99 or more. That's INDOCHINO.com, promo code PODCAST.
99.9 KISW. The men's room returns with Miles and Thrill.
A question because of my body. I couldn't or can't do blank. 206-421-ROCK. Hello, Mike. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
I was just in high school, and my dream car was the 1991 Acura NSX Exotic. Oh, I love that. So sweet and sleek. And so my license said I got to just say 420 pounds. So that gives you a ballpark. Gotten done playing football and everything. But my friend had a ragtop Mustang. And so I hitch a ride with him. I hop in, and my face hits the visor. I can't even see out the windshield. It's like, oh, my goodness. So that really puts an idea. If I can't even fit in this Mustang, like, there's no way I'm going to get into my dream car. So that puts some to rearrange my priorities, you know.
What did you end up buying?
I got my first car was the Subaru. I never actually, shoot for the stars, but I got a Subaru 4-cylinder was my first car, and after about 12 days, I endoed it, and back end over front. So I'm glad I didn't do my life, this big investment on your first car.
Okay, well, what are your overall dimensions? How tall are you right now?
I am 6 foot, and right now I'm down to about 300 pounds.
Oh, really?
So
Jeez,
I did drop quite a bit. Yeah.
Is this diet and exercise? What?
Yeah, it was. I had a really slow metabolism, and so it just. I was always. It's like an uphill battle to try and drop any sort of weight at all.
Sure.
All through high school, like they worked. My coaches worked with me and everything, trying to drop that weight and get me in healthy condition. And I was able to play football eventually. I was able to get on the field with it.
What did you determine was the biggest thing contributing to your weight gain?
Well, the gain, I think it was like the sneak eating and the shame and stuff, like the mindset, like, oh my God, you're going to be 300 pounds by high school. Oh my God, you're going to be 400 pounds by the time you graduate high school. And that really got into my head, and it manifested, and it became a real thing.
Well, sir, you're not letting people down if all you did is exactly what they said you're going to do. It's the truth of it. If you tell the kid you're going to be a failure and all this, well, they're probably not going to do great in school, right? Because they don't have to.
Yeah.
You just told them, I have no expectations. So how many years have you been dieting to drop 120 pounds?
Well, it's been 20 years since high school, so.
All right.
So it's been a slow thing for you.
Yeah, it has. I mean, I feel better now than I ever had before. And, you never feel as big as you actually are. You never feel as old as you are and stuff. But now that I've dropped weight, I feel so much better. Like, the perspective is there, and you really only know until afterwards. Like, oh my gosh, I had no idea.
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know.
I would feel this much better.
How about your overall health when you go get your physical? What does the doctor say? You're good on your cholesterol. You're good on your blood pressure. All those things.
Yep. I always check. They say you should quit smoking and everything, but overall you're doing pretty good.
Well, no doctor's ever going to tell you, I know you smoke, it's cool.
Mm-hmm. But if I were to smoke, I'd smoke Winston's.
Right. I'm not saying I smoke, but
tasty and refreshing.
Even with Crohn's disease, they suggest 1 cigarette a day, but it's like, come on.
Does the cigarette trigger your need to go to the bathroom? Because when I smoked, it was helpful for me.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
Really, that's such a weird thing, man.
It is. But it's true. That caffeine, there's just a couple
Caffeine a little bit. Smoking does not make me need to poop.
First thing in the morning.
Oh, first thing in the morning. No, when I wake up in the morning, like, I need to poop before I smoke.
Seriously.
Oh,
I
yeah.
used to smoke, then poop.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I'm definitely a poop first. Before I even see the kids. Basically, I wake up and I'm like, I definitely got to pee, probably got to poop. I poop. Then go out there, give the kids a hug, make coffee, and go smoke.
Yeah, I gotta get the body moving a little bit.
Really?
Sure.
Man. Am I the weird one here?
No.
I'm with you.
I gotta churn that poop up.
Are you like Miles or
Yeah,
me?
I gotta get up. I gotta walk the dog. I'll sit down, have a coffee there for a minute, and basically I'm about 3 sips into coffee, and then
I gotta let it brew a little bit.
Oh, not me, man.
You're ready.
Apparently I set mine for overnight. You know what I mean? So my coffee has brewed by the time I wake up.
Because of my body, I couldn't or can't do blank. 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, JoJo. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola, you delicious potato product.
How you doing, guys?
Doing great. Positive Friday.
Positive Friday.
So, I had in middle school, I developed a disease called Osgood-Schlatter's disease.
Osgood-Schlatter, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And what is that?
So basically, I grew so fast that the tendon started ripping away just below my knees from the bone.
Jesus Christ, man. How fast are you growing?
I think I grew close to like a foot in like a year and a half.
Wow, man. So I imagine the amount of pain you were in was immeasurable.
It was crazy. It happened, like it all started all at once. I got out of school one day, was going to the bus, and then just bam, and I started limping.
Did you notice that you were getting bigger?
Oh yeah, I noticed I was getting taller.
Okay.
Because I went from like being like 4'2" to like 5'3" in the span of a year and a half.
All right.
How tall are you now?
I'm 5'10". Well, 5'9.5" because of neck injury, but I still say 5'10".
Okay.
Yeah, of course, stick with the 5'10", bro. We know how that works.
What did you do to your neck?
Oh, the car accident.
Okay.
All right. So if you have this disease and the tendons are ripping away from the bones, what do they do to prevent that? Because they can't like stop you from growing, right?
Well, in my case, they didn't really do anything. It's basically just, they'll catch up. Because what happened was the bone grew so much faster that the tendons just couldn't keep up.
Okay.
So as I got older, they caught up eventually. I still do have some issues with my knees. But, oh, boy, up until I was about 16, so right below my kneecap is where it was the worst. So they would be super inflamed. And if I hit that on anything, and I realized how many tables are, right at that height.
Yeah.
Awful, man.
So
awful.
Did they diagnose you with this before the? Because you said you were 4'2". How old were you when you were 4'2"?
I was like 12.
All right, so you're 4'2" at the age of 12, which seems tiny, right? But I would assume everyone else in your family, just average height?
Yeah, oh yeah. So like 6'2" tends to be on the higher end. 5'10", the lower end.
I mean, did the doctors give an indication to say, look, the rest of the family is fairly normally sized, but your kid is really short, but don't worry about it. His tendons are going to rip off the bone, but he's going to catch up.
I was pretty. There was no worry about it because I was growing steadily. I just jumped in height over that year and a half for no reason. It was kind of crazy.
But all new clothes. That's one of the benefits.
Yep.
No more hand-me-downs.
I knew what that was because I had a buddy and he had it when we were growing up together.
Was it the same thing? Like he was real short and
he
then
just
blew up?
He just ended up being 6'7".
Okay.
So when he grew, he was 5'8" and basically went a foot, and it was not good.
And what's the name of that again?
Osgood-Schlatter.
Good Lord, man.
Yeah. Because of my body, I couldn't or can't do blank. 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Mike. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, gentlemen.
Hola.
My name is Mike. In 1998, I had to have a robotic cage implanted in my spine. I used to be a biker. I can't ride a motorcycle anymore.
Is that because of a wreck?
Yeah, I was rear-ended. He was doing 55 and I was parked.
Ooh,
jeez,
boy.
man.
What is it like to fly through the air?
It's very difficult. It's painful.
I'm saying... You were awake when you were flying through the air, right?
I can't go through metal detectors. I've got 8.5 pounds of steel in my spine, actually titanium.
Can you feel, physically, you alone, can you feel that extra weight?
Yes.
All right. And is it painful or is it just like having a backpack on?
Painful every day, every step, every movement.
You're kidding me. That sucks. No. So what do you do, eat Advil, or they got you on some kind of more powerful painkiller?
I can't. Okay, since 1998, I've had 28 surgeries.
Jesus.
They've put it, the Gore-Tex mesh that's on recall. It's in my stomach. It's actually moved, and that's the most painful thing there is.
Was that trying to create a buffer, a wall, a dam between two places?
Yeah, I kept getting hernias, and they were trying to stop the hernias by putting this mesh in, and then the mesh actually moved, and now I've got more hernias, and the mesh has moved, ripping the skin. All the pins have ripped my skin on the inside.
God. And I'm guessing this guy's insurance is paying for all this?
Oh, he had the bare minimum of insurance. I was a professional driver. I had $1 million policy on myself, and at the trial, my insurance agent was sitting at the other guy's table.
You got to be kidding me.
No, after the 7-day trial, he walks up and says, "Hey, I'll see you on the first for your premium." I said, "You want to bet me?" He said, "You're not going to hold this against me, are you?" I said, "Oh, no. I'm not going to give you no more money."
No, I'm going to hold a knife against your neck. Right.
Well, okay. You guys want to hear a really odd one? For on and off the last 20 years, I've been a bouncer in a bar in Tacoma.
All right.
Yeah, this is true. I mean, after all those surgeries, a place called World Famous Bob's Java Jive, a giant coffee pot in Tacoma. It's a historic landmark bar. It was Kurt Cobain's favorite hangout.
Okay.
That was my home on and off the last 20 years. I actually lived there. There's 2 apartments in the building.
Ah, okay.
You want to have some crazy stories? Talk about a handicapped man bouncing a bar.
Yeah, I'm going to say, I'm guessing you kept that under wraps. Just keep a hot coffee beside you at all times. That'll work. Something, yeah. I mean, that just speaks to your size, right? Because you walk into the place. I'm always torn on bouncers, right? Some bouncers just see a dude, he's 6'8", he's 300 pounds, and I'm like, nobody's going to mess with this guy. You're just not going to. Right. Other times I walk into a bar, guy's like 5'9", weighs like 150, and everyone's like, "That's the bouncer." I'm like, that's a killing machine. If that is their bouncer, and they do not look intimidating, that is the guy that's going to drop you with one punch. You know what I mean? Like, I'm more terrified of them than I am the big dude. The big dude, you kind of know what you get into. I'm going to get my ass whipped, no doubt about it. But I know that. But it's not going to be sneaky. It's just going to be one of those long, suffocating things. But if you have a teeny tiny bouncer, I'm like, do not mess with that guy, man. Absolutely. Put it this way, Mike Tyson's not tall. Do the math. Yeah, I'm trying to think like what you could wear to kind of freak people out. Would you wear like, what, as a bouncer? Karate pants? Or... No, see, because people are going to challenge you. Yeah. People are going to challenge you. Like a cloth belt? I think the shabbier you look... All right. What if you wore a wrestling headset? It's go time. Right. Okay, yeah, I just don't want to mess up my ears, man. I've got to fight. Because of my body, I couldn't or can't do blank. 206-421-ROCK. I'm picturing you wearing a singlet, just the whole wrestling thing, and working as the bouncer. Or always have a mouthpiece in. Yeah, just something ready to go. Hello, Chris. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, gentlemen.
Hola.
So when I was in high school, I was an all-state and all-conference wrestler, and I got 2 injuries from that. Well, technically 3. 2 I knew about it. 1 I didn't find out until I was an adult. So the first one is I lost all the feeling in the inside of my right knee. Now, if you sprawl in wrestling and you hit your knee enough, or at least any part of the skin enough, the nerves stop trying to regrow. So I can't feel anything. I can scratch my inside of my right knee and I don't feel a thing.
That's weird.
The second part is I didn't find out till I was older is that I damaged my sweat glands. Now, when you're skinny and you got to drop weight, you don't have any fat to lose, so you drop water weight. You do that enough, you overexert your sweat glands, and they stop functioning properly. So I don't sweat. But
even if you were to go on a long run, you wouldn't sweat or get into a sauna? It's not going to, come back?
So, well, let's put it this way. I don't sweat very much. So
okay, all right.
I work in surgery, and during surgeries, sometimes when there's a burn patient, they jack the temperature in the room up to 90 degrees, and everybody has got gowns, gloves, doing their job. the end of surgery, they'll strip that all off. Everybody's soaked head to toe. I'm dry.
Okay. Why do they jack the temperature up if it's a burn victim?
If you don't have your skin, you can't regulate your body temperature.
You know, when you put it like that, it feels stupid.
Okay. Since you're in the surgery room, can I ask you some questions that I've always wondered about? What happens when you fall asleep? Because when you fall asleep on, normally as a guy, when you wake up,
yeah, you got an erection.
Right. Does that happen during surgery? Under anesthesia?
No, you're not really asleep. They just basically milk your brain with enough drugs that it doesn't know it's awake.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
That's very comforting.
But how about being able to control your bodily functions as far as using the bathroom and things?
That's why we put a catheter in.
I see.
What about the poop angle?
We tell you not to eat anything for 24 hours.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's
trying to cover the bases. All right, I'm following you.
How many times, though, during a surgery, because people lie to you guys all the time. Oh, I haven't had a meal. And how many times does someone defecate while you guys are operating on them?
Regularly.
Are you serious?
Okay. Oh, we got a name for it.
Is it radio friendly?
Code Brown.
Code Brown? And do you have to kind of stop the surgery to clean them up, or do you finish the surgery and clean them up later?
It depends. Now, if it's got into the sterile field, then yes, we need to stop everything, clean it, get everything sterilized again. But if it hasn't, then we'll just pull forward.
Do you tell the patient when they wake up, like, hey, the surgery was a success? By the way, we had to take a quick break because you pooped all over the equipment.
It's supposed to be a 3-hour surgery, but you didn't get out till 4.5 hours.
Right. I mean, do you ever share with them, like, hey, man, you pooped all over the place?
The conversations that are had after surgery, I'm not privy to. I'm only in the OR.
Yeah, but you're there when it happens. Okay. Mm-hmm. I just want to make sure. Because when my daughter, she was with Caesars, she...
Right, lets everything go.
Everything goes. I mean, everything goes. Out of both ends. 3 ends.
If the nurse walks in and calls you dookie, you know that you pooped yourself during surgery.
Because I'm always just like, what happened when I was in there? Come on. I'm okay. I can take it.
Right.
Tell me the truth, Doc. Because of my body, I couldn't or can't do blank. 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Curtis. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
What's up, guys?
Hi,
So,
sir.
yeah, you know those running shoes that have a spot for each one of your toes, little toe shoes?
Yeah.
I wish I could wear those, but I can't. They've got a webbed toe on my left foot.
Listen, man, based on my opinion of those shoes, good. I'm not glad that you have a webbed toe. Those shoes look so dumb.
Well, okay, but where's the web? Is it between the big toe and the other toe, or?
No, it's the next pair. It's the.
That's fine. You can wear flip flops as long as you can wear flip
I can wear
flops.
flip flops.
Have you ever thought about taking a pair of scissors and just cutting it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, everybody asks me that, and there's a bunch of blood vessels and nerves between there, and it honestly it has no ill effect.
You can swim faster.
Like, why would I?
Would I notice the web if you're wearing flip flops? If I look down at your feet, would I be able to tell?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And people ask me all the time, and it's funny because I have a spiel at this point. It's like, oh, well, does it do anything? I'm like, well, yeah, I swim faster, but it's only on the one side, so I go in circles.
Oh, it's like the creature from the Black Lagoon. Right. Interesting.
Yeah, the funny thing is my great-grandmother had it on both feet, and no one else in the family has it. So
okay, I was going to ask if
generations.
It's hereditary, if it's just something that happens.
Yeah, neither of my kids have it. So I don't know. Maybe it's sleeping dormant and will rear its ugly head.
Let me ask you this: neither of your kids have it. Deep down, did you hope that one of them would have a web toe?
Maybe a little.
I know you did, man.
Did you do a paternity test? Did you do a paternity test?
They don't have web feet. I'm not the real father.
Exactly. Also, I'm not black.
My little fish baby.
Our question, because of my body, I couldn't or can't do blank. We'll get your emails on the way for the men's room at KISW.com next.
At Seattle Credit Union, we believe in our communities and the people we serve. The path to U.S. citizenship can be expensive, which is why we offer citizenship loans to cover the costs associated with this process. We also offer a fee-based alternative for each citizen loan type for people who would prefer not to pay any interest. Visit seattlecu.com to learn more, or give us a call at 855-575-9352 to speak with a friendly loan expert to get started today. Seattle Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
If you need a place to enjoy the best years of your life after 60, help at home, or rehab after surgery, Carriage is here for you. Carriage is a family-owned healthcare and senior living company that puts people first. Enjoy a vibrant retirement in an elegant, amenity-rich community in Washington or California. Rehab after surgery in Bellevue or Renton, or care at home throughout King, Pierce, and Thurston counties. We're here for you. Learn more at carriage.com.
At Seattle Credit Union, we believe in our communities and the people we serve. The path to U.S. citizenship can be expensive, which is why we offer citizenship loans to cover the costs associated with this process. We also offer a fee-based alternative for each citizen loan type for people who would prefer not to pay any interest. Visit seattlecu.com to learn more, or give us a call at 855-575-9352 to speak with a friendly loan expert to get started today. Seattle Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
Planning a wedding is intimidating, but finding the perfect suit shouldn't be. Design your dream suit at Indochino.com and use code PODCAST for 10% off any purchase of $399 or more. That's INDOCHINO.com, code PODCAST.